What's up guys, Omni here. You guys know how it goes on the day of the video. Last night I tweeted I sleep. What recent news, topic, tweets, videos you want me to talk about tomorrow? And good freaking googly moogly, what have y'all been doing for these past 2 days, man? Apparently the situation with the black VTuber Shizzy went from bad to worse. Next Assassin's Creed game is featuring a black guy and people are angry about it. The biggest Drake fan, DJ Akademiks, disconnects all of his socials as he faces some really serious allegations. Red Lobster is officially canceled. Cable TV is creeping its way back to our lives. Markiplier is somewhere in all of this. And a lot more. It's been a really wild couple of 2 days, so we're just going to jump right into it. Anything we don't cover today, you guys can catch me on stream later tonight, 7:00 p.m. Eastern on twitch.tv/Inferno Omni on Omni After Dark. That's where we kind of, go a little crazy. Let's start with this clip, which apparently has been going viral on all platforms, okay? No context. I'm just going to play it and we'll react to it and I'll tell you what I think.
I went on a date with this guy and he was like, it's getting late. Do you want to come back to my place? And I was like, sure, but I'm not going to sleep with you. Like, that's not happening. And he was like, that's totally fine. Just come over. And I was like, cool. So I go to his place. Okay. He respects my wishes. He's so nice. He cuddles me all night. And I'm like, are you gay? Like, what? And like, I just wanted him to like try. And then for me to be like, no. You know what I mean? I wasn't going to sleep with him. Now I feel ugly. This is what.
So a homie over here is saying, hey, don't try to sleep with me. A guy does not try to sleep with her. And then she gets upset that guy does not try to make a move to sleep with her. Am I hearing that correctly? As a wise man once said, it is a sickness. Look, if you meet anybody with this energy, run, okay? I know what some of you guys think, but Omni, she's a baddie. Or some of you girls, you might meet a guy with the same energy and he's a baddie. No, I'm telling you, it's not worth it. You can learn the lesson the hard way. And some of those lessons might be ones you don't walk away from. That's what I'm trying to tell you from, okay, homie? So be careful out on these sheets because these sheets ain't safe. Ah, shit. Here we go again. All right. Not Mick said the situation is getting worse as most do. Oh, my Lord, bro. The other day I was questioning whether or not my path of peace, trying to preserve my peace, keeping the energy between you guys and being kind of passive and staying out of the streets and telling you guys to stay out of conflict. I was wondering if I was becoming complacent, maybe that was a little while. And I saw this situation kind of escalate and I was like, you know what? Never mind. I'm good. I'm going to keep chilling because this is a situation that I can't believe has blown up to the extent that it has and the speed that it has. If you guys don't know, this is Shizzy. Shizzy is a VTuber. We talked about him in the last video on Monday. And on Monday, he basically speed ran, got himself canceled in the VTuber community, coming out talking about racism and all the problems with the VTuber community, which a lot of the points were valid. He was just very aggressive about it. And when I mean aggressive, I mean very aggressive. It put off a lot of people. And then people started trying to cancel him, putting him to ties to the Smash community and all of this stuff. He created a lot of drama back and forth with this guy. He stirred up the pot. And then it looks like his ex came out of nowhere to talk about the situation as well, saying I don't know why this guy is the black guy representative of the VTuber community because I think that he's a bad dude. And as soon as I saw that, I was like, oh no, not like this. Please, not like this. Now, I'm not going to go into the thick and the weeds of it, okay, because it's a little messy, all right? I don't want to get into the deets here, all right? Shizzy's going to also make a response as well, but it's the long and short of it that she's coming out to say that he has been problematic in her own past with their own relationship and when it comes to the VTuber space as well. The long and short of it is this, okay? Woofer said, I need to get this off my chest. I've seen the videos of Shizzy the God buzzing around the platform the past few days, and I just need to point out some hypocrisy and bring up some points. I'll speak on this categorically so that it's an easy TLDR to read for anyone who needs additional outside context. I am Woofy, aka Bree. I dated Shizzy the God at the beginning of COVID, and we broke up a year after. I worked on his first model around December of 2020. Started working on a 2.0 2.0 model in the spring of 2023 and sent files in November 2023, but worked on additions throughout December. And just basically showing that, yeah, she's the one that's responsible for creating this model that you guys see. She then starts to criticize the video that he created. It was titled Everything That's Wrong with the VTuber Community, talking about deep voice VTubers. The god mocks the deep voice VTubers, but also says if your natural voice is deep, then it's all good. Interesting, considering he harassed a deep voice VTuber by calling him a cancer patient or corpse wannabe multiple times. She also falsely accused him of herpes, not true, and smoking packs of cigarettes, also not true, in order to get into the voice he has. So she's responding and basically saying, yeah, I watched his video, I don't like his points, and here's the reasons why, because of our personal experiences. Again, not going to read the entire story, but one of the important points that she highlights is that apparently he owes her money for one of the VTuber assets that she created for him, saying, here, even after receiving my final files, Shizzy still owes me on his 2D model and is currently behind 3 months on his agreed upon monthly payments. I am blocked on all forms of communication, so I can't even ask about it. I just have to trust that he will pay the agreed upon total of $6,000 by December 2024. Dang! Is that how much it costs to get a rigged model up on these streets now? Good freaking lord, that's a lot of money. But yeah, this one's a super no-no. One of the taboos, unwritten laws when it comes to everywhere and around the world is, pay your artist, okay? You don't leave them hanging. And if you don't pay your artist, man, the art community will come in and mess you up kind of thing. Now, I don't know if this is a situation where he still owes her money, but like the payment's not due quite yet. She said that it's done by December 2024, so maybe it's just an outstanding liability, which isn't due until then. But yeah, she's saying that she still is owed money for the art that she's created for him. And then there's a post I'm not going to go in deep into, their Discord messages, that apparently has a bunch of deleted stuff between the two of them, and she talks about their interactions, and I don't know, they basically did not get along. Something must have happened, must have been a bad breakup. I don't know the deets, all right, but she started leaking some of the Discord calls to kind of show their back and forth interactions. And yeah, basically saying that he's extremely toxic. There's a lot of threats of mental emotional abuse, standing on business, not afraid of skeletons, yada yada. She's calling him out and saying like, yeah, he's the opposite of what he says in his video. And last but not least, she said using hot topic trends to bolster a debut comes off as bait. And it worked. It brought out every racist rage baiter from their holes and also showed who in the black community is okay with violence and disrespect as long as it's coming from the mouth of the big enough creator. Someone admits to being toxic, violent, unapologetic, and it's okay to y'all. There could have been finally a constructive convo around racism in the community, but instead has been turned into a dumpster fire. There are a lot of real examples of racism, and troll ones were chosen this time around, even this, and blah blah. Sad, really. You should all want more and better. So yeah, this is a vengeful ex coming through and saying, yeah, the homie that you're trying to prop up ain't the homie that you should be propping up. This has now led to all the people who were trying to find something on Shizzy to be like, yes, time to, now we can really cancel him. We was looking for some dirt. We was looking for a reason to hate this man, kind of ignoring the points that he was making in the video, any kind of validity that was there in the video being separated from the fact, but also we have now found out that you are not that great of a person, which is kind of interesting because I think in Shizzy's actual video, he says that he's not a good person. Like, I think he admitted that he's about that life. He's beating people up. He's robbed people. He's done things. He's so he kind of self-admittedly self-reported that he's just not a good guy, and it is what it is. But now she's kind of here and saying hey, just want to continue to let you guys know that what he said about not being a good person is true. You have one side of people saying that doesn't discredit what the message is, and the message being hey, racism is terrible in the VTuber community. We should not allow it to pass, and we shouldn't let it be normalized, right? A lot of people still agree with a lot of the messages that's being said, but now people are kind of, I guess, questioning his character because his ex is coming to the picture. He said, I was going to leave Shorty alone, but now I got to address my ex, and she's latching onto this as a means of grabbing social media points. I didn't even want to do this. Toxic relationships and shit. Streaming when I get home. Let's talk about everything. I don't know if he's done that stream yet to talk about everything or not. But yeah, that's the update when it comes to the whole VTuber thing that's been going on. The VTuber community got basically put on blast by this guy in terms of calling everything out. Rustled up a whole bunch of jimmies. Got a lot of people to kind of talk about things that probably need to be talked about because, we know that it's happening. It's not something that surprised most of us. I did a full stream where we watched almost all of Shizzy's content when it comes to his videos and his response, so you guys can go check that on the second channel, Omni After Dark. But yeah, now it feels like it's starting to get to the point where it's getting a little personal and maybe we should need to take a step back, all right? Because when you start bringing exes into the picture and in personal relationships and in old conversations, and oh my God, it starts to get a little kind of wrinkly, all right? But that's the update that you guys probably wanted to know. I'm going to think about if we're going to follow up in the future if more things come out, because I feel like it's getting to that really, really messy territory where I kind of want to just take a step back. In terms of my overall thoughts, I think you can have two things at once, okay? Maybe you don't like Shizzy based on the responses and the relationships that he has with his ex that is still going to be ongoing in terms of he say, she say, fence sitting, and who did what kind of thing. You can have that opinion as well. You can also take points from the video as well and confirm it, but like, yeah, I agree with him on that. Two things can be the same. That's the situation in a nutshell. It's just, dang, man, that sucks. This is wild that this is happening. And I'm just going to continue to just kind of just keep creating my piece. I'm going to keep focused on, I'm going to keep going down to J. Cole, Vinland Saga 2 life, man. Okay, I really appreciate it because I don't want to be in a place ever in my life where I give anybody any kind of energy to feel these kind of thoughts or ways against me. That's kind of like my strong focus. I want to maintain that. And for those of you guys who are looking for a home to call your own, you know, for peace, I'll be that for you guys. You guys can let me know how you feel about the update though in the comments below. Speaking of messy, sometimes Clutch said, please cover the Keffels drama if you haven't already. Deep rabbit hole. Okay, I'm going to make an executive decision here, I believe. All right, we're going to be streaming tonight, and I will talk to you guys more in general, but I don't know if I'm going to go into this rabbit hole when it comes to Some Ordinary Gamers. We talked about it already, Mudahar talking about Keffels and apparently all of the terrible things that she has done. Right? Because I feel like it's one of those rabbit holes that is going to be pulling and tugging from different directions, if you know what I mean. And I'm not trying to be in the center of attention of that. There are some things that I'm curious about, and there are some things where I'm like, maybe my curiosity is not worth the energy, time, and attention here. So I won't be talking about it here on this video. Probably not going forward as well, unless it develops into something else. But if you guys are really pressed for me to kind of go and do a deep dive in this, you guys can let me know on tonight's stream. Okay. Otherwise, I'll go into every other topic that is not this. This is one of those hot tamales that I'm just not sure if it's worth, you know, potentially getting burnt from. All right, guys, we have another trending clip that's going on right now here in the gaming space where it has to do with women, and it looks like Riot Games, this woman named Taylor Morgan that people are talking about left and right with different opinions. I don't know it yet, so we'll go ahead and watch it together. Dark said, in all honesty, this right here, and it's a tweet that was made that says, I have never made a more desperate plea than what I'm about to say right now. And Riot support, I need you guys to effing do something. I am an incredibly strong person. I've been streaming for a very, very long time, but absolutely nothing prepares you for someone saying this to you. The suspensions are not enough. Nothing will ever stop these men from acting this way until hardware bans go into play. They should never be able to play the game again. I know you hear us. I know you see us. If this goes unpunished, I am taking this as an active act from you that you do not give a single F about any of the women and minorities that play your game, and I will rally to boycott. This is just absolutely not on. And oh my Lord, she said she's taking a stand, and if you do not cancel these people or move these people that are involved in this incident, then I am going to war and I'm bringing every woman with me. So what happened in this clip? I got to understand. And why is it so controversial? There's 60,000 likes on it, lots of quote retweets. And how is there a back and forth? What is going on? What was being said? I know I'm kind of dragging out. It's just because I'm trying to create some suspense. Okay, let's watch the clip.
Yuppa. You are literally just fucking all talk, bro.
Oh, be honest with me.
My ult's ready.
Do you know what rape feels like?
No, I don't actually.
Well, do you want to know?
Are you saying you're gonna rape me?
Because you're heading on the right path right now.
Are you saying you're gonna rape me?
You're going on the right path for it.
Is that what you're saying?
Toxins going up.
It's not rape if I like it. Is it now? Hectic. Oh.
Oh, damn. Wow. I don't think I need to repeat what was said, okay? I don't think I need to paraphrase or summarize. I think you guys watched the clip and some of you guys are kind of flabbergasted as I am, unless you've already seen it, but dang, bro. It's just a game. What are y'all doing? What are people saying? What is that? That's not, oh my God, man. What's wrong with people? To be honest, I'm not sure what is actually worse. The fact that this is the clip that I'm watching, that I'm seeing, that is happening, and that's kind of what was said, or the fact that I'm like not surprised, right? I've existed on the internet to know long enough that this is just kind of like the basic trash talk, especially when it comes to being a woman in the space, right? And if you're a black person in the space and you get called monkey and every single racist thing, if you identify with anything, you know, you get called and told and said the worst things, right? I think that's what I'm trying to say. It's shocking to see, but at the same time, I'm not shocked. That's the part that's the worst of all. Andrew Tate is in the comments. Here comes Andrew Tate, bro. All right, here we come, the defenders. Now, and you're probably thinking at home, how is this a two-sided situation? Is there more context? What's going on? And Andrew Tate has arrived, okay? And he said, women join men's spaces and cry and bitch and ruin everything. Wah, 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 like babies. Men say the worst things to each other all day and nobody cries. Easiest way to fix the problem is ban crybaby women from gaming. Done. Oh, man. God damn it, dog. Oh, Lord. This dude. Here's Myron from Fresh and Fit. Oh, no. Oh, God. This is why women need to stay out of male spaces or STF if they get bullied. But Myron Gaines from Fresh and Fit, aka just like literally the diet version of Andrew Tate. But like if you're Andrew Tate and then he's like all the way down here to the 10th degree in terms of like, you know, being taken seriously. Women come into male spaces and want rules to change for their feelings, which F's everything up for everyone else. Here's the equality feminism got you. Everyone gets shit talked online. It's unavoidable aspect of gaming. Sack it up. You claim to be an incredibly strong person and streaming for a very long time, but you got triggered and tried to force a company to do what you want as if the world revolves around you and no one else gets insulted online. There's a little bit more, okay? Imagine melting down and making demands because you got roasted in a video game. So you rage quit a game and tatted because someone was shit talking you. How unbelievably pathetic. This is exactly why men don't want women invading their spaces. Women will whine endlessly about being excluded until you let them in and then immediately demand you change. So being objective here, kind of just trying to look at the situation from these two sides here, it sounds like that a bunch of the guys are saying like this is the environment that exists. Okay, if you come to these places, you will get hit with the worst insults that you can think of. That is the environment. Okay, so don't come in here as a woman and try to change it. Just come in here and take the blows and take the hits like everyone else, maybe dish it back or something like that. But otherwise, it is what it is in this community. We're not changing the toxicness of this community. We're saying that it's going to stay and it's going to be equally spread out to as many people as possible, including women. Almost suggesting that it's equal opportunity to say the worst things that you can to a woman because the worst things are going to be said to literally everybody else. Seems to be the sentiment that I've been reading so far. More arguments. There's somebody showed a clip right here of a person actually responding back to it, like with the toxicity that's usually in these places, but
really, Amazon sells really cheap ropes. You should check it out. Might be useful.
Oh, Lord, goddamn. So that's the situation in a nutshell, and those are the two sides, okay? You have one group of people who are saying, hey, you shouldn't allow this kind of toxic stuff to take place. It's incredibly unsafe for women, that the fact that they can be told these things without any kind of consequences, and this is the reason why women don't want to come into any of these male-dominated spaces, is because they get threatened. This is the reason why women choose the bear when they're out in the forest, is because there's a lot of male-dominated spaces that react to this situation in this way. And you have the other side of the group of the people, mainly the men, and some of the women out here as well, are like, look, this is how it's supposed to be, okay? This is the law of the land, that you're supposed to be, you know, racist, misogynist, sexist. You're supposed to say every toxic thing that you can when it comes to these spaces. That's just how it goes. And therefore, if you basically bring yourself into this environment, then you are subjecting yourself to it. It also sounds like people were saying that prior to this conversation, I think that there was some banter that she was kind of giving out in the first place, and this was kind of a response and retort. So that's why people are saying that he won. Some people are saying that she's making it for content. That's why she unmuted him, etc., etc. In my opinion, joking about like R with a person like online live, I think that's taking it a little bit too far. It's kind of interesting because there's a little bit of hypocrisy. I remember there was a clip with Speed, and I think Speed was like somewhere in some game, and they were calling him a monkey. They were being extremely racist towards him, right? And the entire, mostly, majority of the people, at least the kids on the internet, were kind of pissed off that this is how he was being treated. And a similar like type shooting type game place, right? It's the same environment, but people were very outraged about the fact that he was being treated the way that he was as a guy, as a black dude. But it does seem like when in this situation, when it comes to women, the odds are not the exact same for her as well. Okay, the treatment of how people were outraged for Speed doesn't seem to match the outrage for her. Again, some people were saying that she just got out battled, like outmatched. Like if this was like a back and forth Drake type Kendrick thing, and she kind of came out with a diss to talk trash, he just did it worse and went below the belt as far as possible. So it's okay and legal in that land. Again, that's not what I'm saying. That's just what I'm seeing as the arguments. But I do see there's a bit of a disparity here, right? The little selective outrage that a lot of people like to talk about, where you might come in defense for one thing, but not so much on the other thing. And yeah, that's what occurred. So I'm very curious about how you guys feel at home. Okay. Do you think this is a situation where, yeah, this should just be a toxic environment? If you go here, you catch a stray no matter what. No matter what, if you come into this gaming space, the shooting space, the strays will be strays and it's legal and it should be okay and we shouldn't change it? Or do you think that we should be trying to make some changes to make it safer for minorities and women and other people in spaces to tone down the toxic? Or should we be trying to control that part of the internet? Because we know it exists. And are we going to try to fight it, or are you going to try to let it go? You guys can let me know how you feel in the comments below. All right, this one is absolutely wild. Okay, you guys know the whole Drake and Kendrick beef. You guys know. You know, you've heard too much. You're probably tired of it. You're probably not tired of They Not Like Us. If I play that joint right now, you start jamming. You're probably already jamming your head right now. But apparently, the guy who's been making the most money off of this, right? One of the biggest content creators, probably the biggest, and the centerfold and attention of this when it comes to basically being the person to review it, DJ Akademiks, aka Ak, aka Young Ak, aka the Young Degrassi supporter himself, aka Drake's #1 fan, is apparently facing some accusations that has run him off the internet. AY said, sheesh, DJ Ak's attempt to hide his essay case turned out to be a whole police sting. He deactivated his social media and said if he goes down, he's taking everyone down. Now, now look, okay, I just want to say right off the get-go, okay, that sounds like somebody who is guilty. That sounds like the voice of a villain, right? Like, all right, guys, they're about to put me in bars. Y'all better help me get out. You better bail me out, because if I go down, I got secrets. And I'm going to tell everyone what's going on. I'm going to snitch. He better hope that someone don't Epstein him or something. He don't get P. Diddy'd out on these streets, because good Lord, this man just declared, I will snitch if you guys don't let me free. Now, for those of you guys who don't know the details of it, let me first find out. Did he really take down his Twitter? Socials are still up. Okay. DJ Akademiks is right here. Not gone, but he deleted some tweets. So the last tweet he had here was May 13th, talking about Not Like Us hitting that top 100. Okay, so and then since then, I guess maybe he disappeared from his socials. Oh no, they turning Akademiks into Drake, and they're saying, oh my gosh, DJ Akademiks has reportedly been sued for defamation and by a woman who claims Akademiks and 2 other men sexually assaulted her in 2022. Is this the same case that I think we were talking about a couple of maybe months ago? This is the same situation where someone came out, and I think there were even clips. Oh, God, this one was pretty brutal, from what I understand. Okay, I'm a little bit of trigger warning. I'm not going to go into the details of the weeds for those of you guys who might be triggered this kind of thing. But I remember the scenario and situation around this woman was really brutal, because they had shown a clip of him apparently coming back to like his video, to his YouTube, or to his like stream or his content. I think you could hear things in the background, and it wasn't a good look. He's basically denied everything, obviously, but it wasn't a good look at the time. And this guy's saying, yeah, day one with no response for Akademiks, saying like, yo, where you at, homie? It's time for you. Now you're the one on trial, on blast, just like Drake. Where you at? People saying that Kendrick called this out, saying, I can see the vibes on Ak. Even he looking compromised. Don't know if he's saying compromised as in maybe he's not Team Drake anymore, or compromise, meaning like, hey, maybe he has a case as well, as long with, all of others, Drake's buddies. This guy's saying, yo, the academic story should be a learning experience for everyone. Whenever you see someone riding that hard for someone and going to such great lengths to defend them at every turn, that's often because they're defending themselves too. Birds of a feather flock together. I think yes and no. I think this can be true and false at the same time, right? Like you could you can be trying to defend your hero, but not be doing the things that your hero claim. But also there are people who do the same thing. I think that's a yes or no thing. Sometimes true, sometimes not true, depending on the actual result.
Again, I can't talk about too much just because I've paid lawyers to handle court.
Okay.
And these people who are coming at me are hoping that I f that up by handling it on social media. The police wants nothing to do with this. They're saying there is no crime. The cops have said, peace. There ain't no crime that we could prove. That's what they've said. We're out of this. Do you know who's the lawyer representing whoever against me? Y'all know the lawyer? Who y'all think that lawyer is? Is it possible that that person who really seen the money grab was really the Diddy stuff, and who was the biggest covering the Diddy stuff? That lawyer allegedly reached out to some people of mine saying, if Ak continues to doubt what we are purporting against Diddy, remember, we could file a lawsuit on him too. Let me tell you this about everybody in the industry. I'm going to tell y'all all this right now. If Ak ever goes down, y'all all go down with me. Because I hold no secrets for nobody.
God. Oh, my man self-reported, self-snitched even before it was done. I mean, if this guy is innocent, he's in a bad position. But also, man, if you're innocent, you'd be like, look, if I get taken down, I'm bringing the entire industry with me. I think that might be his last-ditch effort called to be like, for those of you guys who know that I know, y'all better come bail me out. But also, I don't know, man might get Boeinged out here too as well. I'd be careful. This man's not in a good place or a good spot right now. All right, guys, we got some more racism. Okay, look. Okay, I'd be joking about the racism. Why is there so much? Okay. Karuto said, hey, there's some talks going around about the new Assassin's Creed Shadows. That's right. The new Assassin's Creed. It's called Assassin's Creed Shadows, and it's going to be featuring a black guy. And so, yes, that's why it's called Shadows. We finally get a black guy as the main feature and they call it Shadows. That's wild. That's crazy. Anyway, but I wonder when the Caribbean will get their own representation in Assassin's Creed. What's going on here? Assassin's Creed being based in Japan and then not using a Japanese male protagonist is stupid. We know exactly why they're using Yasuke, the message, and it's annoying. It would be dumb as having it based in Africa and deciding to use a white male protagonist. Well, it depends, bro. To be honest, if you do an Assassin's Creed in South Africa, you might see a white male protagonist, bro. They out there. They really out there. So for those of you guys who don't know, this is Yasuke, aka probably one of the most popular like black samurais in terms of like history outside of like Afro Samurai from the anime. He's had his own show, and there's a lot of depictions of him when it comes to history. Yasuke was a man of African origin who served as a retainer to the Japanese daimyo Oda Nobunaga in 1581 during the Sengoku period. A lot of things happened in the Sengoku period. He was employed as a kosho for a period of 15 months until Nobunaga's death and the Hono incident. So some people are saying like, hey, if you're going to have an Assassin's Creed based on Japan and in Japan, then it needs to be about Japanese people, or the main person needs to be Japanese. They decided to base it on Yasuke, and Yasuke just happened to be in Japan, and it looks like now there's an argument of why he's doing it. People are throwing out the word DEI out now. They're just like, no, boycott. Black? Boycott. Let's see what they have to say, though. Let's look objectively. Well, let's see what people are really upset about. I like to joke, but I also want to try to figure out if I can understand and be empathetic to why people are truly upset. Sidebar, but I wanted to read this to you guys. Shamsi said, as your both a black dude and a professional racist. Thank you very much. I'd like to hear your take on the new Assassin's Creed. Set in feudal Japan, with Yasuke, the black guy turned sword rank for Nobunaga. Am I saying that right? No, Nobunaga, not Nobunaga. I'm sorry. Don't make fun of me. I fixed it. Being the MC instead of legendary samurai shinobi like Miyato Momusa. It's always interesting, right? As being one of like the few, like I want to say black content creators that kind of talk about the news of this facet, or being one of the largest ones or whatever. Is like, I'm always that guy where like white people will be like, I wonder what Omni has to say about this. I wonder what the black guy has to say about this. I'm not going to put in my input. I have my thoughts and my feelings as a non-black person, but I wonder how the black guy feels about this situation. I feel like I'm honored to be that black guy's for you, but also it's kind of hilarious. So let's take a quick look at this clip. Apparently maybe this guy doesn't like what's happening here, or maybe he does. I don't know. It's just a clip that you guys showed me. Let's kind of jump into it and see what he has to say.
So we got our first look at the new Assassin's Creed game, and I gotta say, man, I'm not impressed. I'm actually just really annoyed right now. We have two main protagonists, one female, one male, just like Odyssey. We're gonna be using Neo, I hope I said that right, a female Japanese character. And for the male character, they're gonna be using Yasuke. Now,
It's Yasuke? Yasuke? I thought it was Yasuke. Yasuke? I thought it was Yasuke. You know what? I'm gonna keep it at Yasuke. I don't care. I'm renaming it.
annoyed because they're using Yasuke, and I'm gonna tell you why. Yasuke is what they want to say is the first black Japanese samurai, when in all actuality, he was not even a samurai. He was a retainer, so he wasn't even a full-blown samurai. And for all of the characters they could have used for Japan, all these kind of different people they could have picked from, they picked Yasuke. Why do they pick Yasuke? Because he's black. So in context, that doesn't matter to me, because in all the Assassin's Creed games, every single character has been of some kind of different race and nationality, so that doesn't matter to me. That's fine. But you have to understand what day and age we're in. You have to understand the kind of social shit that they want to try to get across in these video games now. So instead of using a Japanese man in a game based in Japan, like they did with the other Assassin's Creed games, Altair, he was an Arab, obviously. One of my favorites, Connor, in Assassin's Creed 3, he was Native American, that was fine. And the most famous of them all, Ezio Auditore, who was Italian. So why in all those games would you have a character representative of the region they're from? But in this game, you want to demote a Japanese man and then use Yasuke.
Damn. So I guess the formula is supposed to be that if you are of a certain nationality in Assassin's Creed, that's the pattern, then you should be basically in your culture, saying like, yo, if you wanted to put a black person in Assassin's Creed, then you should have put him in Africa, because that's where black people are. Or put a freaking black person in Assassin's Creed and put him in United States. Oh, god damn. That sounds like the present day life. But that's his argument. His argument is that in all the Assassin's Creeds, everyone's basically from a certain place and the main character is from the certain place. And then you take it all the way to Japan. So why isn't the main character Japanese? Fair. I think that's not a unreasonable take there to kind of question that, right? Like if somebody finally says, yo, the next Assassin's Creed is taking place in Tokyo, Japanese people are like, yeah, finally we're going to have an Assassin's Creed that's going to have, you know, an Asian guy, that we're going to have us, our representation. And like, nope, it's a black guy. It's Yasuke, and he wasn't really a samurai. So... So now they're saying that, yeah, the reason why they're doing it is simply because he is black, probably having to do with this whole, you know, debate that's going on where whenever you see a black person in any kind of shape or way or fashion in media, they're forcing it on you. They're pushing it onto you kind of thing because of the background things where they have requirements where they're supposed to kind of spread out like the diversity and the DEI in order to get money because of it's one of those anti-woke things that's going on. I'm not going to give you into that rabbit hole, but a lot of people are fighting against it.
I understand why. We know why, but they're not going to tell you why, because if you call it out, you're some kind of ist or phobe or whatever. And since I'm black and I'm calling it out, that means that I must hate my skin or something. Yeah. You know how they do. Yeah. I just see this and my immediate thought is they did this for brownie points. I can't think of any other reason why you would have a Assassin's Creed game based in Japan, which we've been clamoring for since the beginning of Assassin's Creed, and then have the main protagonist that is a male be black. I see that and I'm like, there's no other reason than I want claps for it.
My opinion, okay, and I'm just being objective in the situation. I have no skin in this game. Pun intended, but yeah, I feel like we have like 50 million games when it comes to like samurais in Japan, and the main person is like the Asian dude, right? Like I think that's like, we got so many of those where I feel like this might be like a fresh take on it. Also, the concept of Yasuke is not even like foreign. They've created an entire anime around him when it comes to him and being a samurai or being a retainer, right? So they've created an entire show about him. So maybe they wanted to create a game about him. That's kind of how I look at it as well. So it's kind of like a fresh look or a fresh take on a person that they want to create that's happening in another era. It looks like they might have a Japanese woman as someone that you can use, but that's how I see it. It's a different take, but the same take at the same time. Let's put a black guy in Japan because that's the trope that people have been selling for a while. It doesn't necessarily mean that they're trying to force and put black people out on the front so that they can get brownie points, is what I'm trying to say. But I do agree that there are times where there is a little bit more forced diversity when you come to some games where I'm like, why is this here? What is going on? Is it... Why are they forcing these kinds of things? Like when I watch Velma, and I'm like, wait a minute, this is kind of a sussy show. What are they doing with this? And how did this get white? Like, and how did this get green lighted kind of thing? But I don't know if this is how I feel about it yet. Let me continue to see what he has to say.
There's no other reason. And I'm an Assassin's Creed fan. I've played every game. I love every game. And one of my favorite characters is actually Cassandra from Odyssey. So nobody can sit here and say, I don't like women or I don't like diverse people or whatever, when one of my favorite characters is diverse. Hell, Connor Kenway and Hatham Kenway, those are some of my favorite characters from Assassin's Creed. So before the idiots want to start, that's not the reason. The reason is I see straight through this bullshit and I know exactly why they picked this character. It's annoying. That's like if Ghost of Tsushima, instead of using Jin, they used a white dude. People would be like, that doesn't make any sense. This doesn't make any sense to me. It's stupid. I know exactly why they're doing it. I see straight through it. It's annoying. It's pandering. It doesn't do anything for me but piss me off.
It reminds me. Isn't there The Last Samurai by Tom Cruise, right? Like we have a situation where there's a show about samurais and the main character is a white guy, right? I think there's a couple of shows that have happened, animes or movies, where there was literally about a specific heritage, Japanese, Chinese, whatever, Korean, and then you have the main character starring like Tom Cruise or starring like another famous white guy like that. So that was a thing as well. It feels like it's a schmix that a lot of people do. It did make people frustrated to know that that movie existed, but some people actually really enjoyed it and liked it. I see his points. I see what he's trying to say. He thinks specifically they're forcing it. He thinks they're doing it just so they can get brownie points. Let's put a black person on the art. In order to do that, let's do it this way. This man wanted it to be more like Wakanda Forever. We're going to get a black person. I want this person to be from Wakanda. I want Black Panther. I want the woo, 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 woo. That's the only way that a black guy can get representation in a video game, if he's out here chanting and coming out from the African tribes and wearing barely nothing. And I guess that's what he's trying to say is what should have happened with this series. Comments saying it's going to be hilarious to see Yasuke flee, blend into a crowd, and somehow remain unnoticed despite probably being the only black person in like a 100-mile radius. Have you guys seen Lupin from Netflix? Maybe you haven't, maybe you haven't not, right? But you guys know Lupin the Third is the whole guy who's like a master of disguise, right? Lupin on Netflix starred this really huge Shaquille O'Neal ass black dude, right? Super black, like Wesley Snipes black, right? And the man was like 6'8", and he was the master of disguise. He was out in Britain. I was like, y'all really trying to tell me that this big ass black dude is out here camouflaging with the rest of society? Don't nobody have his height. Don't nobody have his skin color to the extent that he does. And this man can blend in with the disguises. This is a side note. Disguises were absolutely terrible. I thought they were making a joke. They were trying to take the person that kind of looks very, very noticeable and then give him a funny suit that still makes him look the same, but people just couldn't see him anymore. I thought that was the joke, but it was actually a pretty good series. With that, jokes aside, Lupin on Netflix, pretty fun to watch. Kind of corny, but corny in a good way. Anyway, 100% agree with you, man. It honestly pisses me off too. I do not consider it representative of my race when they pander. It's beyond insulting. It's not genuine. Anyway, my thoughts are is as cool as the idea and the concept is, I do know that sometimes we do get pandered to. Okay, I'm not ignorant of the fact that sometimes some corporations are like, hey, you want some more black? bam. And then they get paid for, hey, you want some more women's? And they just, and then push it out. Or, hey, you want some more of this kind of, I get it, right? I know that that's a thing that's happened in the background. To be fair, I think the concept is pretty cool. The world's first black samurai sounds pretty fun, but people are saying based on actual history, this guy was just a retainer for Nobunaga, okay? Wasn't even a samurai, was just kind of like a slave that was being dragged around and tossed around, okay? So the story isn't going to make any sense if you make him the samurai, if you make him the Assassin's Creed, or what people are saying. I don't know. People are really angry about it. For me, as somebody who I don't play many of the Assassin's Creed games, and even if I did, I honestly wouldn't care. I'm always about like, is the game good? Is it fun? And is it good? And I'll let it slide. I don't really care what you do, right? Like if I watched The Last Samurai with Tom Cruise and it was fun and a good watch, I don't care if you started with a white guy. But I understand other people who maybe want that historical front to be there to make sense, especially for these games, for these Assassin's Creeds. I'm not going to argue with them, but you guys can let me know how you feel about it. If you are an Assassin's Creed fan, are you upset that Yasuke, the Shadows, is going to be the first black samurai? You think we're being pandered to? Okay, you think they're shucking and jiving over there so that they can get paid more points for that DEI, for that diversity? Or do you think it's pretty dope and people are kind of just overreacting? You guys can let me know in the comments below. So guys, the whole situation with George Janko and Logan Paul, there was a lot of context that I did not give in the last video. I only responded to the, what Logan Paul's new response was, but George Janko's claims here that Logan Paul didn't address properly had to do with sexual assault. He said that in his podcast live, he was actually being assaulted by one of the people that they brought in as a guest. And you guys told me to say, hey man, there's some more context. Let's bring it up. This could be something, if you guys want, we can deep dive it tonight on Omni After Dark, 7 o'clock p.m. Eastern on Twitch. George Janko claims he was harassed by Bobby Lee during the Impulsive podcast, which led to him quitting. He alleges that Logan Paul threatened to fire him if he didn't apologize for walking off the set. This is the added context that you guys needed to know in terms of Logan Paul's response to the entire situation, okay?
I never had a problem with Bobby Lee.
No, he knows
I had a problem with the way that Logan and you were kind of gassing him to keep doing. He started the episode putting his balls in my face. I let that one go. Then every 2 seconds, he kept grabbing my dick.
I don't know who Bobby Lee is, but what in the ham fat? Maybe this was some friendly banter between him, but you didn't get the AOK. Look. Okay, let's be real. Let's stoop down a little bit low. Okay, because I was watching the roast of Tom Brady, and when it comes to like certain people, like certain these white boys out here, the guys out here in the on the football teams and the locker rooms, okay, love to be play gay, like just play around with the concept of gay and like touching each other's penises and butts, and they love the gay jokes and the gay things that are usually going on. Okay, there is a tribe of straight men who love to pretend to be gay and throw away gay jabs, is essentially what I'm saying. I'm not saying that Bobby Lee is like that or whatever, but number one, if somebody put their balls in my face and I'm not about that life, they're going to get the meanest uppercut. I might bite it. I'm gonna rip it all with my teeth. I will have to create an example to make sure that no human being ever thinks that it is okay to dangle their freaking gonads somewhere in the vicinity of my face. Okay, it will be gone. There will be damage, and it will be permanent. Also, I really feel like this situation is kind of interesting too, because I don't think Bobby Lee would be waving his balls in front of Logan Paul's face. I bet you 10 out of 10 that he didn't do that because he knows that if he waved his balls and started grabbing at Logan Paul would have hit him with the swift elbow, with the swift. Logan Paul would have been Logan Paul would not have tolerated that. So that's probably why he targeted your boy George Janko. I'm just saying, just right now, that's kind of wild that this is how this podcast was going.
I don't think. How would you feel if a man that has his back completely towards you, that only turns around to grab your dick,
right,
talk shit to your face, and you can't smack or beat the living brakes off of this guy? Because Logan makes me apologize to this man, or I don't have a job on Impulsive anymore.
Is that so? When I looked at Logan's response to the TikTok, I thought it was pretty good because he talked about the financial stuff. Well, I don't think he actually addressed this situation, which seems to be a very core, strong point of it. I mean, there were many points that George Janko made about reason why he left Impulsive or what happened, but I don't think he addressed this one specifically. And from what I understand, when it came to that podcast, a lot of things got edited out, so the people at home didn't know it was going on. But George Janko was like, "Nah, this is what went down. I had some dude who kept trying to grab my dick." Now, me personally, okay? Someone comes at me with balls, right? And it starts trying to touch me. They catching something. They catching an elbow. They catching a fist. They will know that I am not the one. I don't care if the podcast, Logan Paul is up here. They will know that I'm not the one swift, fast, and immediately, right? But also, it seems like one of those situations where the podcast host, Bobby Lee specifically, might have been treated more favorably than the actual podcast himself, George Janko, is what I'm thinking. They wanted to keep the guest comfortable, even if the guest was making George Janko extremely uncomfortable.
How fucking crazy is that? I said, Mike, this is all that happens. And you said verbatim, you said, it's our fault for not telling you this, but me and Logan are really the ones who should be talking to the guest. You are really there for a boys only episode. So while I get sexually harassed, my other co-host is trying to fire me and you're trying to leverage me to be quiet during.
Oh my god. Okay. All right. There's the other side for you guys. And that's just some of the context of him and his episode where he's talking to one of his previous ex-co-hosts. This is one of the other guys that was coming from Impulsive. And I would love to see myself a nice podcast with Logan Paul and George Janko talking about this situation and talking it out, because yeah, this does not look good. If you guys don't know, I mean, when it comes to Omni After Dark, we will watch more. If you guys want, this will be something that we'll cover more in detail tonight. But the George Janko situation is still developing, okay? There's probably going to be more information that's spoken about. Logan Paul will probably make some more TikToks. George Janko will probably speak more on about it, and some of the other people will go on. But yeah, that's the added context. I'm very curious about the full context. We might have to make this one of the deep dives that we do tonight. But guys, this is why we can't have nice things, okay? I don't know if you guys know, but there was this portal that they created over here in Dublin, in New York. And this portal allowed it so that in real time, you can see people from across the entire world, right? And look at them and interact with them, okay? So imagine here, me looking at you, but you live like halfway across the world, but we're talking to each other in real time. We're seeing each other in real time. They created this huge portal. And you know what that means? Humankind, they come out here and make the worst of it. They have to ruin it. We cannot have good things. Slazzy said, oh, the new portal in New York Dublin shut down for inappropriate. That's right. The portal that was there to connect the world has now been shut down. Now, there's many reasons why it probably got shut down. As you guys can see right here, I can't turn this picture around because you got yourself a lady out here flashing everybody else on the other side, okay, from Dublin to New York, and they're saying boom, you know, hit them up with the titties, the tantas. So I can't play this clip as some of you hornies want me to press, but there were other clips as well where people were taking their phone, okay, they were taking their phone and they were showing like the Twin Towers being destroyed, or they were showing actual porn videos, right? And then on the other side, you got people, and sometimes those people were freaking kids, right? You got like 5, 6, 7, 8-year-olds watching this on the other side, and you're like, oh, these people are just out here now, just in public indecency, essentially. Everyone's like enjoying themselves. Rest in peace, Pop Smoke. Heart signs. New York Daily News, Twin Towers. Oh my gosh, bro. That's wild too. Does that mean that somebody from Dublin posted to the people in New York? That's crazy. Oh, that's wild. Now that's even worse. I didn't even connect the dots. That's even worse. Anyway, that's TLDR. Something that was pretty cool gets ruined by sex offenders who decided that it would be fun to show off nudity to people from across the other world, because that's what humans do. We take nice things and we ruin it. For some of you guys thinking maybe we're innovating, this is actually oh man, it would be a really cool thing to see happen, man. Just people walk around and connect with people across the world. It's a very awesome concept. Something I'm like, yay, I'm glad that we brought this into this universe. But you guys do know it's like the monkey's paw. You bring something amazing in and something terrible gets attached to it. evens it out. It usually makes it a net negative. So this is where we are now with it. Speaking of monkey's paw, guys, we got to talk about how cable is slowly creeping back. Okay, remember there was a time, Pepperidge Farm remembers, where all the shows that you wanted to watch was just on one big program. Okay, everything that you wanted to see, you had to scroll down. Or no, oh my God. Okay. There was a channel where you can look for all the other channels, right? Usually like 1, 2, 3, or 4. And you would sit there and it would just move up like this, right? Showing you what you can watch and at what time, right? These bars would raise up. Some of you Gen Z people are like, what the hell are you talking about, right? And it would just rise up and you would see here the time frame when it comes out, like, oh, I want to watch some Disney, or oh yeah, I'll watch some ESPN at this time. That's how people tried to figure out what to watch. That was cable TV, and it basically got destroyed when, you know, these companies said, screw it, I'm just going to make my own subscription service. Instead of having it on this cable package, I'm going to take it out and you guys can, you know, watch just me and only me, because I'm going to make some quality content. That's what happened with Netflix. That happened with Disney. That's when you started getting Max and Apple TV and Hulu and Peacock. And now people are saying, maybe it's time to package it back up again. Now that we've dismantled cable TV, maybe we come back together, and that's what's happening. 2 new streaming bundles will be made available soon, where you can have Disney Plus, Hulu, and Max in one bundle, and then you can get Netflix, Apple TV, and Peacock in another bundle, which is essentially just cable, but with smaller amounts of groups of channels. Okay, we're going right back to square one. The circle of life begins and ends at cable and continues at cable. And the only difference now being here is that when they do eventually put them all together again, like the freaking Thanos's Infinity Stones, it's going to cost probably more money due to inflation, and it's going to have less channels than before. Like some of the channels that didn't, you know, create their own like subscription service, like Max or Disney Plus or Hulu, basically integrated to it. So like Lifetime, for example, I don't think they have their own subscription service. I think they're included in one of these guys here. So it's the same thing, but different, but still the same. So look forward to that. Red Lobster, rest in peace to the Cheddar Biscuits, man. They're gone. They're going bankrupt. Did y'all know? This is wild. My boy Chef Beck said Red Lobster going bye-bye. Red Lobster filing for bankruptcy as early as next week. Oh, say it ain't so. This is in part per Wall Street Journals, because an all-you-can-eat shrimp deal that executives hoped would turn the chain around contributed to millions of dollars in losses. Damn. You gave people an all-you-can-eat shrimp? All you can eat. I didn't even know. I missed out on all you can. That's a lot of protein. Shrimp is an excellent source of protein, guys, by the way. If you want to get some protein, shrimp, oh my God, you get a lot of bang for your buck. It's pretty expensive. They gave people all you can eat shrimp, and I missed out on that protein? It reads here, Red Lobster, one of the first U.S. casual dining chains and an innovator in the sector, suffered from strategic challenges. An all-you-can-eat shrimp deal with executives hoped would turn chain contributed millions of dollars in losses. Red Lobster's majority owner, the seafood supplier Thai Union Group, said it had lost too much money on the chain earlier this year and wanted to cut bait. And that's it. Rest in peace, Red Lobster. I doubt the whole all-you-can-eat shrimp was the reason why. It's probably, you know, poor management or something else going on here. I didn't go to Red Lobster enough. I think Long John Silver's is still out in terms of like seafood chain restaurants that are really, you know, like in that kind of sector. Long John's is still there, but I haven't seen one in ages. Now, it comes to these places, I just don't know where you would go for like some good old McDonald's, but seafood instead, man. Rest in peace to an era, to the gang Red Lobster. I hope their Cheddar Biscuits stay in some kind of way. Maybe they just need to make a Cheddar Biscuits restaurant. Turn Red Lobster into just Cheddar Biscuits. And it'll be deja vu. We got Markiplier news. That's right. Whenever Markiplier breathes, farts, or coughs, or says anything to anyone, anywhere, you guys know we're falling, okay? We Markiplier stands here. He had tweeted and he said, it is done. If you guys don't know Markiplier, he's a YouTuber. He's one of the biggest ones in gaming space, okay? He's got popular on Five Nights at Freddy and playing a bunch of games, and one of the biggest gaming Let's Play YouTubers of all time. You probably know who he is, but for the small percent of you guys who are like, who the hell is this guy? Because I realized when I read the comments that a lot of you guys come in here and you're like, you know what? I don't know who any of these people are, Omni. I just like hearing you talk, put you in the background when you're in the gym while I'm eating, and I can just learn some stuff about some random stuff, and I like hearing the sound of your voice. I'm like, oh, okay, I got to remember that a lot of you guys have no idea what's happening. So I'm trying to give more context because I assume that you guys know these things if you've been watching long enough. But yeah, that's Markiplier, okay? Anyway, he said it is done. And I said, you finished? And then everybody said, gay. If you guys don't know, Markiplier has been in the background. He's made videos talking about the fact he's working on a huge project, Iron Lung. It's a movie that I believe that he's been working on for quite some time now. I think it's horror or psychedelic or something, but everyone's been excited to see it. He's been basically saying that he can't wait to come back home and start making videos on the regular, but he's going to be out for a while now until this project is finished. So he came back and said it is done, which people are assuming that Iron Lung is finished. And yeah, so we might be hearing and seeing a YouTube video about it soon. But when Markiplier does drop this project, best believe I will be watching with great interest. Seeing YouTubers kind of go out of their space to do other projects and then do it successfully is always really cool, which brings me to a correction that I need to make, by the way. But in the last episode on Monday, we talked about Donkey, BG Donkey, okay, our gang guy there, who's also a YouTuber. And I said that he basically created this new game called Animal Well, okay? That was a misspeak, okay? Sometimes I get confused when I'm talking about like the studios versus the publishers versus the developers, etc., etc. My bad. But anyway, just a dude, a lot of you guys corrected me and told me. He said, hey, small correction regarding Animal Well news. Donkey is not the developer of Animal Well. He is the publisher of the game from his company, Big Mode. So that's what he created, was Big Mode, okay? Wanted to clarify that a lot of people are giving credit to Donkey instead of the actual single developer of Animal Well. Animal Well getting super high ratings. It's the only reason why I haven't started playing Animal Well is because I still haven't beaten Hades 2. And I realize why now I haven't beaten Hades 2. You guys might need to hear this, by the way. Another kind of Switch thing, Hades 2 just came out early access. You might not have known this, but like there's a part in the game, like just very quick, okay? Just a quick sign off, okay? There's a part in the game where you can basically get these green juice things. I think it's called Grasp. And then you can use the grass to kind of make yourself powerful with these tarot cards. And I didn't know that you can level up how much juice you have. You start off at 10. And I didn't realize the entire time I've been playing this game for hours and hours, I had no idea you can upgrade your juice. So instead of having like just 3 tarot cards, I've only been playing with 3 tarot cards, trying to win with just that. You can maximize it and have like 21 open slots. It made the game so much more easier for me to play. I've been playing on hard mode difficulty this entire time without leveling anything up. So now that I opened it up, I officially beat the game. I still hate Chronos, but I did not realize that that was something that you can level up and unlock. The developers, Billy Basso and Shared Memory LLC. Okay, those are the developers, and the publisher is Donkey, Big Mo. So this is where you want to give the respect and the love to. I'm going to play this game and I'm going to play it soon, okay? Because I'm very excited for games that are indie games and games that kind of blow up out of nowhere, tend to be like the Stardew Valleys that we get. I'm very excited to try this out. It's on the Switch too as well. That's pretty cool. I'm probably play this for the Switch instead. So guys, we got to talk about this really fast. Sony's financial report came out and it basically showed just how well or not well they're doing, but also in comparison to Xbox. It is unveiling the future of gaming as we know it in terms of what's going to be happening in the future. And it looks like these numbers, whether you care about video games or financial reports or nothing like that, are so wow, you're gonna be flabbergasted, man. Nintendo doing well as possible. You already know that. Okay, Nintendo's the game of it. But what's going on with Sony? Why are they making all these decisions when it comes to Helldivers 2? Why does everyone seem to be scrapping and firing and laying off? The financial report explains a lot, actually. I've already looked at the earnings, the 10Q and the 10K when it came to this already, but I think a better one that I saw online was from this guy named Daniel Imma, Twitter guy who gives out information about these things. But yeah, he said, number 1, Helldivers 2 has been Sony's fastest selling title ever, okay? Having sold 12 million units in 12 weeks, surpassing the record set by God of War. Oh my God. PC was a large part of the success as evidenced below. This basically explains why, you know, people like Square Enix is saying, you know what, we're not going to have any PlayStation 5s exclusive anymore. We're going to basically allow our games to be played on Steam or on PC. Because if you allow your game to be played on your system, but also on PC, it makes your sales go very, very, very far. Okay, the PC master race is eating right now because it's a place where if you feed them, they will eat it, especially when it's good food. That also kind of explains the situation with Helldivers 2, where they were trying to get the PC users, right, to basically make a Sony PSN account. They were trying to force people to basically sign up for Sony PSN if you were playing it on PC. That's kind of why everyone was so freaking pissed off. They were trying to convert this huge sales of this successful launch into more subscriptions or to more people on their account and their bases. Number 2, the digital ratio for full game software sales on PlayStation's platforms reached 70% for a full year. I believe digital ratio meaning that out of 10 people, 7 people downloaded their games from PlayStation 5, and only 30% of the people were, going out to the stores or ordering it and buying the actual hardware. The chart below shows how digital sales accounted for just 20% in 2015. The pandemic accelerated the already existing shift to digital. So we got 2015, this is 10 years ago, basically, where 20% of people were downloading. Now we're all the way at 70%, and that number is going to go. For those of you guys who worried about the extinction of hardware when it comes to video games, we're going into that dystopian future where everything will be something that you don't actually hold tangibly. It's getting there. I think what's going to happen from that is that people are going to learn how to emulate, and then actually from there, people might learn how to reverse emulate and then turn it into hardware. I just know gamers are very creative, so if they ever take away the fact that you can't use hardware, I have a feeling that people society will figure out how to create their own hardware back again. The end of the cyclical profit/loss console cycle. In the past, declining software sales and high R&D costs would typically generate a loss in console launch years. The PlayStation 4 to PlayStation 5 transition, however, had a high margin digital content sales plus subscriptions, which equals higher profits. So the introduction to more digital sales, you guys can see here from 96 all the way to 2014. For the PlayStation 4 and the PlayStation 3, when it comes to this profit and loss thing, man, there's a lot going on. And then suddenly, boom, Sony has been doing immaculate ever since then, right? Prior to the PS4 and to the PS5, when it comes to subscriptions and digital content, their profits have been skyrocketing since 2015. 2 more points. This one here says the PlayStation 5 is sold in 59.2 million units as of March 31st, 2024. Okay, it's almost 60 million. This is slightly behind the PS4 in the same time frame, which was 60 million. They do not expect the PS5 to surpass the PS4 in the next year. However, just because it is kind of close to the PS4 doesn't mean it's necessarily bad. The PS4 wasn't a failure by all means. And given the whole disruption of the PlayStation 5 in the beginning of its launch when no one can get it, and the fact that they're still keeping up with the PS4 at this point means that they're not doing terrible. They're not exceeding their sales like Nintendo Switch. Nintendo Switch is absolutely killing it in terms of like their predecessor, but they're also not in a place where they're doing so well in place that, it sounds like the hardware will stay. They're not in an Xbox situation where they're getting destroyed, but they're also not surpassing their previous predecessor. And then finally, he said this is a bonus for the console warriors, plus my rent is due, but the PlayStation 5 shipped 4.5 million units in the last quarter. According to our estimates, this is almost 5 times more than the Xbox Series X shipped in the same period. Oh my God, you're telling me that the PlayStation 5 is outselling the Xbox Series X over 5 times? The amount, I'm telling y'all, man, Microsoft and Xbox is cooked. I'm calling it right now, and I've been calling it for the past year, okay? Microsoft and Xbox, they're going to get out of the systems race. I think this will be the end. I've said this so many times. I've been trying to tell y'all. I've been looking at the charts. I've been looking at the data. I've been looking at what the people have been saying, man. I think Xbox and Microsoft is going to start converting to PC and being more available to be played. I don't think they're going to keep their hardware, man, because people just ain't buying it, and that's a waste of money for them. That's my thought process. Sony's still in the console game. Nintendo is destroying the console game, and even Steam and PC are doing really well when it comes to like the Steam Deck and basically being able to play games on Steam with a Steam Deck. That they're entering the market and getting stronger compared to these guys, the Xbox and PlayStation. They're being able to play Steam on Steam Deck, playing PC games on the Steam Deck, and then making the Steam Deck, right now it's really big and husky. That's the only problem. But if they figure out a way to perfect that bad boy, that thing will be competing with the new Nintendo Switch. I guarantee it. Simply because there is no other alternative that is doing as well, and there's going to be a much more stronger, huge demand for people to play PC games, whether on their own PC or locally on their Steam Deck. But all right, guys, that's all I have to say for videos. I got to stop. Okay, there's too much. Definitely going to be a big chungy wungy of a video episode for you guys. Okay, I got to stop here so that I can edit it, so that I can get ready for the stream tonight. Okay, otherwise I'll go on until infinity. All right, I love you guys. I'll catch you guys tonight, and then I'll probably try to drop a nice, interesting video for you guys on Friday. I'm trying to bring back the laid Omni, some of the single subject ones. So you can catch me here, you can catch me there, you can catch me everywhere. All right, I'm going to float all over the place. All right, everyone's going to know the name. We're going to make it happen. The million is going to happen this year somehow, some way. I love you guys. Thanks for watching. Brush your teeth. If you've been enjoying the series and you're still here listening to me talk and you haven't hit that sub button, if you don't mind, it would be really nice if you did hit the subscribe button and join the Omni Nation. I love y'all. Take it easy, brush your teeth, and be safe. All right, peace.